Ask almost any tech reviewer their thoughts on this guy, the Galaxy Z Fold 8, and they'll probably tell you the same thing. It is a wonderful new form factor which is revolutionising the way that we look at folding phones, and it's also just a joy to pick up and use. And though I am inclined to agree with them on those facts, there's just a few glaring issues here that make this £1,600 phone a bitter pill to swallow, and I'm actually struggling to see how this is going to fit into my daily life. Hello everybody, my name is Robert and this is TechBiz. Let's start off by talking about form factor though, because it's actually the thing that the Z Fold 8 does the best. When folded, it is easily a one-handed device. It's akin to the iPhone minis of late, though it's just a little bit fatter. Its slightly shorter stature does mean you don't have to do a ton of finger gymnastics to be able to reach all four corners of the screen. It's great for doing things like sending a quick text, doing a little bit of doom scrolling, or maybe even playing a round or two of Meow Duco. It's a game for intellectuals, okay? Don't judge me. In these instances, it's an almost perfect experience. Sure, there are a few apps that feel a little bit cramped on this smaller screen, and there's just some buttons that are inaccessible. I'm sure that over time developers will be able to work around this and build apps for the new screen resolutions, but honestly it's a small price to pay for what is a wonderful feeling phone in the hand, especially when folded. When unfolded though, that's when the magic really starts to happen. The crease is almost invisible now, and that's thanks in part to the new titanium layer that Samsung have put inside of this phone, making the screen and its hinges a little bit more durable. When holding it vertically, you can easily scroll all of your social feeds, maybe even read a book or a magazine. It all feels absolutely perfect, especially even in one-handed use. Again, there's a little bit of gymnastics to be able to reach all four corners of the screen, but for when reading a book, you can easily hold it in one hand and just swipe. It's a great experience. If you want to get some multitasking done, or watch The Odyssey as Nolan intended, you can absolutely turn the phone onto its side and use it in a landscape format. Honestly, I can't get enough of this form factor. It's just fun to use a ton of different styles of apps in all three of these orientations to find out which one feels best for that use case. Unfortunately, from a media standpoint, all of the speakers appear to be on the left-hand side of the phone when used in this landscape orientation. So even when you have stereo audio, your right ear seems to just miss out on half of the party. And unfortunately, this is kind of where my love for this phone ends. My biggest issue with the Z Fold 8 is actually its cameras. You get two lenses here. Both are 50 megapixel, both your ultra-wide and your standard shooter. This is actually a downgrade even from last year's Z Fold 7, which had a 200 megapixel main shooter. There's also no zoom or telephoto lens here, meaning that when you zoom in on photos, anything past 2x just looks naff. I didn't realise just how much I used the telephoto lens on my Magic V5 until I didn't have it anymore when using this device. Photos and video are an enormous part of what I do as a creator and as a family man. I want to get the best photos and videos possible of my child and my dog growing up. And it just feels like a massive compromise on a £1,600 phone. On the plus side, if you don't like the selfie cameras and what they do, you can obviously just use the cover screen and take selfies with the admittedly not much better, but better rear-facing cameras. And it was at this point in my testing that I actually ended up just carrying two phones around with me wherever I went. This guy was my main kind of phone for almost everything. But then when it came to photos and videos, I actually swapped over to the Honor Magic 8. It has some incredible cameras on it, and that telephoto is just mind-bogglingly good, especially in low light. Now yes, you do get 8K recording and log video recording as well on the Z Fold 8, but honestly, good luck getting any more than about 11 minutes of footage onto its 256 gigabytes of storage by default. Before we go on and talk a little bit more about battery life on this phone, I do just want to say that if this is the first time that you're seeing my face on your screen, then one, lucky you. And two, go down there, hit that subscribe button, smash that notification bell, and do all of that good stuff. The other real showstopper for me on this phone was, unfortunately, its battery life. And yes, to give Samsung some credit, they have at least moved over to silicon carbon batteries now. But given Samsung's track record with battery tech in the past, I probably won't be sleeping next to this guy anytime soon. You get a 4,800 mAh battery, and that's by no means small, but it's also not massive when it comes to its competition. I found that on a moderate usage day, I would start off the day at around 7 o'clock, and then by 8 o'clock in the evening, the phone was practically dead. This isn't a full day phone, and it's a real shame, especially when I'm coming from something like the Magic V5 that gave me almost 40% battery by the end of the day with similar use cases. This just feels like a pretty big compromise for a phone of such a high standard and price point. Okay, yes, you do get 45-watt fast charging, so even when your phone does die, it does charge back up pretty quickly. Thankfully, the performance isn't really a compromise here. You've obviously got that brand new Snapdragon chip. It is the 8 Elite, of course, so it can basically chew through any task you throw at it, be that multitasking or gaming. The only real performance issues I saw were RAM related. So you're only getting 12 GB of RAM by default, and especially when doing multitasking of 2 or 3 apps on that internal screen, you're going to start hitting RAM usage issues pretty quickly. Yes, you do have a RAM swap available here, and that can go up to, I think it's 32 GB, but it's not going to be as fast because it's using your memory rather than your RAM. Of course, it wouldn't be 2026 if we didn't talk about AI. Samsung have absolutely jammed every AI feature that they can think of into this phone. And if it's your cup of tea, then you'll probably like it. If you like AI-assisted photos and videos, as well as things like deepfake detection, then you're going to like what Samsung's done here. I actually don't mind the daily briefs that it produces. At the end of each day or the start of the next day, you get a kind of a summary of what happened the day before through pictures and videos, and it's just a nice way to remember what you've done and also set you up for the day, be that new news and things like travel to work. Multitasking is another place that the Z Fold 8 really does shine, but that's kind of the case with almost all foldable phones. Samsung's One UI does work really well, and it manages to split up apps really nicely. You can have up to 3 running at once on the internal display. For me, I found that a little bit cramped. I kind of stuck to 2. One side would be my notes, while the other would be whatever website or piece of reading that I was doing that day. And it was in these use cases where it felt really nice. I suppose it's probably also worth noting that you don't have the S Pen support here. So you don't have a stylus to handwrite notes. I genuinely don't understand why Samsung still decided to not add S Pen support to their folding models. It's something that they removed a couple of generations ago, and there was a massive backlash around it. You'd think that Samsung would learn from that and at least give us the option to buy it separately, but no such luck. So it can be a productivity beast, or if you really want to, you can doom scroll 2 of your social medias at once. So I guess that brings me to my final thoughts on the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 8. I really want to love this phone. I think the form factor is absolutely incredible. For whatever use case I have, this phone just feels fun to pick up and use. But there's just too many compromises here for it to feel like a good investment for its price point. Only having 2 50-megapixel cameras here is a massive downgrade, even from its bigger brother, the Z Fold 8 Ultra. Its slightly lacking RAM makes multitasking sometimes a little bit more challenging than you might expect, and the battery life just doesn't last a whole day. I do get the hype around this phone, but for me and my use cases, I can't see it being a daily driver. Anyway guys, what do you think of the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 8? Why don't you let me know in the comment section down below, and of course while you're down there as well, go ahead and get subscribed, hype this video up, do all of that good stuff because it genuinely does really help me out. Anyway, my name's Vim Roberts, this has been TechPixel, and I will catch you in the next one.